Okay, guys, welcome on. Hold on, let's get this off the screen. Let's share video. Oh, I've got to turn my background off. Sorry about that. Let's make sure, Tom, before you share your screen, let me share my video first. If you could, do you mind unsharing? Okay, there we go. No, you got your PowerPoint still up, Tom. Could you pull that off for me? Tom, can you pull that PowerPoint off for me? Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. A little difficulty here. Let me turn this virtual background off. No, I want to take that off. I'm not on the moon. How do I turn this off? Hit none. There we go. There we go. And we are good. I got the other way. The other way. One more. Nope, the other way. Flip it all the way around. Yeah, there you go. Okay, guys, can you hear me okay? I'm sorry about the delay there. Can I get a sound check real quick, Tom?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Well, again, welcome on, guys. My name is Scott Buchholz. I'm a full-time real estate investor. I live in the Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, Ohio market. I've been doing full-time real estate investing for a little over 5 years now. I've been a part of this community for a little more than 5 years. We host these property tours every Saturday. Thanks for changing time. We kind of did a little adapting on the time schedule today because we have a live workshop that we're broadcasting today out of Chicago. So this is the lunch break for that workshop. So we wanted to allow people to jump on and watch this property tour. But again, my name is Scott Buchholz. I am also honored to be able to show one of my properties today. We are in a market of Cincinnati. It's called the Evanston area. I have done multiple flips in this area already over the last 2 or 3 years. I just sold a house 2 blocks down on the same side of this road that we came to market at $323,500, and we sold it for full ask price. We actually closed on it in February or March of this year. So very familiar with this area. I do investing both in Kentucky and Ohio, plus I also have real estate in Kansas. I have partners out there, and we have rental property portfolio out there. We're currently finishing up a rehab on a 9-unit apartment complex. There in Topeka. But today we're coming to you live from this house. It was built in 1900. Will, if you could kind of just do maybe a little 360, show the old this community here. You'll see a mixture of siding. You'll see a mixture of brick houses. This particular property, like I said, was built in 1900. It's about 2,600 square feet house. When we acquired the property, it was a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. There was nothing going on the 3rd floor with the attic. The attic is so large, we wanted to bring that square footage into the equation. So we could add a bedroom up there, we could add an office, we could add a bonus room, a full bathroom. So we basically taken this property that was a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, and we've taken it to a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath. And we've opened up the 1st floor. You guys will get to walk in and see that here in a second. We will go over numbers toward the end. We definitely want you guys to type in the Q&A, any questions that you might have, and I'll get to those questions as well. But this property, when we found it, a lot of people always like, where did you find the property? How did you find the property? So this was an off-market deal being sold for sale by owner, FSBO, and an investor had bought this property about 3 years ago, and with the full intention of completely rehabbing this house. Because of things going on in his life, he ended up saying, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and sell it. So That's how I found it. And I actually saw the post on this on Craigslist. So if anybody says that Craigslist is no longer a good place to look for properties, it absolutely is. So I found this on Craigslist, and I had actually sent my contractor and my realtor over to look at it because I couldn't go over to see it. And then I had another one of our community members that lives in this market. He actually came over and looked at it as well. And I ended up buying it and putting it under contract without even coming out to physically see it. But so the little bit of the story on this, like I said, built in 1900. It's a Victorian style property. If you can see it in the background, Will, I don't know if you can show a little bit. Maybe we can kind of move down here a little bit. You're going to see a lot of the Victorian style finish here. A lot of that woodwork you see is done out of cypress. You can see the color scheme of the way it was back then. And but the investor who had bought this to do the flip, actually, right before he had bought it, there had been squatters living in the property. And they finally got the squatters out. You know, every state's different, every city's different, but that's not always the easiest thing to do. So the squatters got out. He started to do the rehab. He really didn't get much done, to be honest with you. He did a few things, but he didn't do a whole lot over that 3-year period. He kind of sat on it. And but the really cool thing that really excited me is because I'm very familiar with this area. I knew where the top ARV would be on this property because I had sold other properties, and the fact that it was built in 1900 has a lot of history, a lot of character to it. It also came with this, if you can show them, Will, it also came with this side lot here. You can show them over here. So this lot over here came with this acquisition. So part of the potential strategy in the beginning was to renovate this property and do a flip here, subdivide the lot before I sold it, and then built another property over here. But as time went on over the last couple months and looking at this, the overall strategy and who the end user is going to be to live here, we just felt it would be better just to encompass and keep the lot with this property. A lot of living space. It's got a lot of beautiful trees on it. It's got some really cool bamboo area in the back, very healthy growing bamboo area. So we decided to keep it all together. So again, you know, one of the key things is knowing who your end user is, understanding your ARV, where you are, your after repair value. Okay, that's a really important thing. One of the things I always do when I go in to look at a property and make a decision is I always go and look at the high end ARV, the top end, because I'm going to produce a product that's going to be in that top end. I'm going to offer amenities and bells and whistles and finishes that will set me apart from other investors. Okay, so once I established my ARV, which I did on this property, and which is the ARV is $449,000, and acquisition was 102. Okay, once I established that, and I know who's going to potentially move in here, this is going to be either a young couple, a married couple, maybe someone that's got a few children, maybe a professional person. So to give you, for folks who are not from this area, we are really close to Xavier University. We also have the University of Cincinnati very close. We have a lot of medical. We've got Christ Hospital. We got UC Hospital. So all within about 5 to 7 minutes of here. And then we're very close, 10 to 12 minutes at the most to downtown Cincinnati. So this is a really great place to be. And so knowing who my end user is, establishing that ARV at 449 allowed me to pull without even coming over here and looking at the property and getting this under contract. So we do want to go ahead. I don't know if you can see the screen. Okay, Will. Tom, if you could share your screen and we go ahead and could you pull up that first slide? Go ahead and turn your video off, Will. See the button where you can turn the video off? You got it? Okay, let's see that here. Okay, yeah, hold on a second there, Tom, let me catch up. Okay, so this picture was taken this fall, this previous year, so not quite a year ago. You can actually see a little snow on the ground. That was the exterior of the house before we purchased it. Go ahead and go to the next slide if you would, Tom. There's the side view of the house. That is the view from, if you're looking from the east back toward the house, that's the side view of the property. Again, this house is right at 2,600 square feet, and that does not include the attic space because it was unfinished. So we're actually adding square footage to this property. You're going to see something kind of up in the top of the house, right in the middle. You'll see a chimney stack. This house has had 3 chimney stacks, and I said 4 earlier, but it actually had 3. And that center one, we ended up demoing that all the way down below the first level, down into the basement. That allowed us to open the first floor up. It added more bedroom space on the second floor, and it allowed us to put more living space on the 3rd floor. Go ahead, Tom, next screen. So there's another picture of the front of the property. You can continue on. Again, there's the entranceway. You can see all the Victorian style finishes. Our plan on this property, guys, was to renovate this property and keep as much of the original building trim, exterior that we could to keep the character intact, okay? Not sure we're gonna go back to those color schemes, even though this is a 1900 house, so it's 121 years old. It was not in a historic area or not deemed as an historic property. So gives us a little bit more flexibility, but we are going to refinish and keep what you see this woodwork. And what woodwork is missing, we have all that inside the house. The previous investor kept all that, so we're going to refinish all that and keep it looking just like that. All right, yeah, I'd love to see pictures when we're done. Absolutely. Can you go to the next slide? There's a view from the backyard. This is in the lot next to it that we acquired at the same time as the house, and this would be with my back up against the bamboo. It's like a little bamboo forest back there. And so this is after a lot of the demo was going on. You can actually see the remnants there in the grass on the left side of the picture of the old brick from the chimney. So there we removed a very large 3-story chimney and fireplace. And what we were able to do with that is I basically put a post on Facebook, and I probably had at least a dozen people come over and take as much brick as they would. So this is what's left, but that pile was about 20 times larger than that. I was telling the guys a little while ago that you'd probably have a hard time finding a full brick in there now because all that's been removed. Go ahead, Tom. Oh, you see a little side porch there, guys? We're going to keep that, okay? As there is going to be parking on the back of the house from the alleyway, so people will be coming through the back, and they'll be coming through that side door there on the porch. There's the full view of the back of the house. One of the things, if you've noticed in the first few pictures, we have replaced the windows. We were going to try to salvage the old 121-year-old windows, which were the old rope and anchor windows. But the windows were in such bad shape. The wood was in such bad shape. It was about double the budget to try to restore those. And still the homeowner wouldn't have an efficient window. It wouldn't be energy efficient. So we just went ahead and replaced all those windows. About 37 windows in total. And that includes around the basement. You'll see what is the benefit. Okay, we'll get to that question, Chiquita. Good question. You can see a little bit at the bottom where we replaced the block windows. So we had 4 block windows that were replaced around the basement, around the foundation. Go ahead, Tom. That's a view of the opposite side of the house. Okay, we are going to be able to keep all that old siding. Super excited about that. There's an old garage in the back that's a freestanding garage that we're going to demo down. And before we demo it, we're going to salvage a bunch of the siding on it because it's the same. So we can actually scab in and repair the bad siding. Okay, go ahead, Tom. So there's a view of the sidewalk there on the east side of the house. You see a lot of demo material there. Continue on. Next slide. There's a little bit of view of the side lot there. It's got a lot of gorgeous trees. So right now the whole backyard has got like, what would you say, about a 5-foot chain link fence around it, which we're going to remove all of that and open this all up. We've cleaned out a lot already. I've got a great guy that helps me stay on top of my my grass and weeds and stuff like that. So he's cut down a lot of it already for me. But once we remove that fence, it'll really open this lot up. It's going to look like a very large piece of property here. Keep going on there, Tom. Again, there's a side view of the property. Next one. All right, then this is where we go into the house, guys. So we'll go through these fairly quick. That's the first, because you're going to actually see it live here in a second. That's your entryway into your house. That's your front corridor. Continue on. That's once you come into your front corridor, that's kind of the landing area or the opening of the foyer area, and you can see the stairs that go up. Go ahead. So this stairs, unfortunately, somebody had stole the newel posts. Those are your corner pieces, but all the spindles and handrails, the original spindles and handrails were still there. So we've been able to repair most all those and put them back into place. So we're going to be able to keep that originality of it. This big window you see right there, that's a good story on that window. That was a stained glass window that the previous investor had pulled out, and he was going to renovate it and rehab it because it was really bad shape. The best bid we could get, and that was a big stained glass window. So the best deal we could get on that is like $3,500 to redo all the lead and a lot of the glass that was broken and missing. So instead, we ended up not putting it back in. We ended up putting new windows in there, and I was able to sell that old stained glass window to someone else. Keep going, Tom. There's another view of your stairs that wrap around and go upstairs. It's absolutely beautiful. We are going to be able to keep the treads and the platform, the landing area. All right, Tom. All right, so this is a view from the living room looking all the way through to the back wall where the kitchen will be. This does have 2 sets of 10-foot pocket doors. These are 12-foot ceilings in this house on the first floor. And so these are 10-foot pocket doors that are functioning that we'll be able to keep. Look at that, all that old original hardwood. I mean, that casing is beautiful. It's in really, really good shape. We're gonna be able to keep all of that. Keep going, Tom. That's a picture from in the dining area, looking out through the bay windows. There's 3 bay windows. There's also a side door to the left there of your screen that goes out on that side rear porch. Keep going. Okay, this here is a picture. So this was all part of the dining room area, which was really large, much bigger than needed. So we were able to delegate some of that space and do a walk-in pantry there. We're keeping the window in the walk-in pantry to add that natural light. And then there's a little closet to the front left there. Keep going. Okay, there's the view of that walk-in pantry there. Next slide. Okay, we wanted to add the half bathroom on the first floor. There was no bathrooms, so we added a half bathroom in the first floor. A lot of these old homes, specifically in this area, Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati, had 2 sets of staircase, one for the front main entrance and one for the back. A lot of times, the really old homes like the 1900 or late 1800 homes, that was usually for like a servant or a nanny that had access to the kitchen from the back of the house to go up into their own living space or bedroom. So we actually eliminated that rear stairs. We kept it in place, but we closed it in, and we were able to add a half bathroom at the very bottom of that landing of those rear stairs. So again, this was 1.5 baths, and we took it to 3.5. Go ahead, Tom. Oh, you back up one, Tom, if you would. Is that possible? So because we were limited on space, we did put a pocket door in there. So that if you see that on the right, where those vertical or horizontal cross pieces, all that's part of a pocket door assembly. Go ahead, Tom. So this is a picture when you're coming through the master bedroom doors. It's got a beautiful bay windows that we obviously replaced. And then you'll see the framing on the left-hand side As you go to the next picture, Tom, um, that was all part of that front bedroom, and we still left a huge master bedroom, but we're able to take part of it and delegate that footage for a walk-in closet. And in that walk-in closet, it's hard to see in this picture, but there is a round window that we replaced. That was about a $600 replacement window, so we could keep natural light in the closet. I'm really big on natural light in general, but anytime you can add natural light to your big closets or to your pantries, people love that. I love it, but people generally love that. Go ahead. And that's the view of that pantry. So that would be a picture with my back against that round window. Go ahead, Tom. Okay, there's a view from the master bedroom looking into, this used to be a very small bedroom, maybe a child's bedroom at one time, and we converted this into a full bath, so it's part of the master suite, okay? And I don't know if we call them master suites in there, maybe we call them the owner's suite. So this is part of the owner's suite, and it's gonna have a very nice walk-in shower to the left, your toilet's to the right of that, and then there's a small closet between the studs and the outer wall where the window is. We got a nice wall for a good 72-inch double sink vanity that we'll put in. All right, keep going. This is the hallway coming up the stairs, and right here is I'm standing in the entryway of the master suite looking down the hallway, and this is looking into the middle bedroom. So we'll keep going on. All right, so one of the things we did, this is in that second or middle bedroom, we were able to taking some of the square footage or leverage some of the space, and we put in a washer dryer on the second floor. Most of these old homes, they have the washer and dryers in the cellars or the basements, and it's a huge feature to offer the laundry up around where the living space is. So we were able to take a part of that bedroom and turn it into, and you access the, oh, got somebody off mute. If we could turn that mute back on, Tom, that'd be great. I got it. Let me do a quick sound check. Tom, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you now. I was on mute all the time.
Yeah, so on the that washer and dryer, you access that from the hallway. Go ahead, Tom. We're about done with the slides, guys, and then we're going to take you through and walk through it and point out some really cool things. Next picture. Okay. Oh, you went through a couple. All right, that's fine. There you go. So that is a picture looking from the doorway entry into the middle bathroom, or middle bedroom, excuse me. If you guys kind of take your fingers and pinch out the screen, you'll see right past that trash can, right over the top of that trash can, you'll see a hole in the floor. That's where that center chimney was, in the center of the house. By taking that out, we were able to open up the whole first floor, and we were able to add more square footage for the bedroom, and was able to give us more square footage and more flexibility on the third floor, because we wanted to gain that additional living space up there. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, and that's your back bedroom on the second floor. Yes, great colors, blues and greens and purples are in that room. So that is your back bedroom, good sized bedroom. Keep going. This is your full bath on the second floor. It was already in place, but we demoed out the old tub. We've got all the new plumbing ran. So this house, we've already done the electrical rough-in, the HVAC rough-in, and the plumbing rough-in. Plumbing has been passed, electrical has been passed. Later on this week, we'll get our framing and HVAC inspection. After that, we can do any insulation that we need still to be done, and then we start fixing the plaster after that. So that's a full bathroom. Keep going, Tom, on the second floor. Again, that's a picture right there of looking at the laundry room from the hallway. All right. Now we're walking up the stairs up to the third floor. Go ahead, Tom. So this is the back bedroom on the third floor. It's a really big bedroom. And we had some good discussion before we started this today. You notice how low those windows are to the floor. Okay, those are called casement windows. And because the distance between the bottom of the window and the floor, code requires that we can't put double hung windows there. We had to do casement. We had to do a certain size. So always check your city codes and things like that to make sure that you're following all that. Keep going, Tom. So this is a picture looking down from one end of the third floor. You can see to the left is a full bathroom that we added. There was no bathroom up there, but we've added a walk-in shower with just a shower enclosure on this one. And then we're leaving the rest of this open for like a bonus room and an office upstairs. Go ahead, Tom. And that's a picture looking into that full bath that we added on the third floor. You can see the toilet has been roughed in, the plumbing is done. We've got the shower enclosure already installed. The plumbing's been ran for that. Continue to go on. And this is just a picture of some of the subfloor was pulled up on the third floor so we could access for electrical. So one of the really cool things when we bought this property, we didn't know what kind of insulation or if there was really any insulation. A lot of these old homes, they didn't put insulation in them. And so we had got some bids on insulation to insulate the full house. And if we didn't do the full insulation, it was going to really bump up our HVAC price. I think we ended up doing all of our HVAC for 11 grand. That's new air conditioner, new furnace, all new ductwork for 3 stories. But if we hadn't had the insulation, it was going to be about 18,000 because we had to put larger ductwork in for more air movement. We had to add larger BTU, all that, larger compressor. So after we started opening up the walls, we happily discovered that all of the first and second floor walls and the second floor ceiling were all insulated. So that was a huge plus. It saved us a lot of money on the HVAC and on insulation. Go ahead, Tom. This is a picture in the basement. This is the new furnace has already been installed. It had an old furnace in there that was still probably had life. It probably was only about 10 to 12 years old, but kind of the thinking is, you know, when you're selling a property at $450,000, it's not a rental property. When you're selling a property at $450,000 and someone says, you know, how old is the furnace? And you tell them it's 12 years old. One of the first things going through their mind is they're going to have to eventually very soon put a new furnace in. So we want to take all of that type of question marks and thinking out of the potential buyer's mind that they're not going to have to mess with this. So we went ahead and pulled out that 10 or 12-year-old furnace, and it was a good furnace. We pulled it out and put a new one in. Go ahead, Tom. Also, a really cool thing, we had a new water meter put in before we bought it. So that's really cool. Keep going, Tom. And then another good savings was the previous investor did put a new 200 amp service panel in the basement, so we didn't have to do that. That saved us money there. So that takes us through the slides, guys. Let's go ahead and walk through the property. I'm going to pause for a moment. And Tom, if you could take it, let's see here. Let me pull this back up real quick, just the front of this house. Okay, let's take a look at some of these questions, guys. Normally, I'm moderating this, so I've already been looking at questions, but I haven't been able to see all questions that have been asked. Let's go through this. Yes, thank you for commenting on the tour. Would love to see pics when you're done with the exterior. I've always loved Victorian style homes. Me too, Megan. And we will share those. Chiquita, what is the benefit of having a contractor look at homes for you versus a home inspection? Okay, so typically, like depending on the contractor that you've got a relationship with, most contractors that are very experienced, they typically know as much and see as much as an inspector would see. A lot of times people that have home inspection companies or work for home inspection companies, they kind of came from a trade. They might have been a HVAC person. They might have been a plumber. They may have rehabbed or did carpentry work. They typically have some type of experience beforehand before they became an inspector. So very rarely do and then when I first started out in the business as an investor, every house I was getting inspected. Okay. But as time kind of went on, there's things that you look for that would be red flags. You're always looking at your majors. You're looking at your foundation. You're looking at your HVAC, your plumbing, your electrical. Okay. You're looking at your roof. You're looking at the structure of the building. Okay. You're looking to see if it's a brick building and you want to see if there's any sags in the brick mortar lines where it's starting to sink or shift, where maybe there's some foundation issues. You're looking for water penetration. Okay. So you get to start knowing what you're looking for in a property. And I've got a really good relationship. My contractor is also my partner in a lot of deals. So I trust what he says. And, great thing with FaceTime, you can do a little bit of that if you need to. I've actually probably out of the last 4 or 5 properties I bought, I don't know if I went and saw any of them until after I had them under contract. So good question though. Let's see if there's some more questions here before we start walking through the property. As an investor, how do you make your purchases? In cash or loans? What do you recommend? Also, how do you determine top end ARV factors? What is your turnaround time? Well, that is a lot of questions in one statement. So let's answer these real quick, and then we're going to walk through the tour property, then go over numbers, and then answer some more questions. So one of the things that I do as an investor, I do about 95%, if not all of my acquisitions using OPM, other people's money. Okay. I have private lenders who want to be in the real estate investing industry, but maybe they don't have the time, maybe they don't have the skill set or the knowledge, but they want to be in the business. So they might have the funding. So I use private lending to do my deals. I very rarely use my own cash, very rarely. And then I set up a very good relationship with my lenders, give them a very good return on their money. And most of my lenders are repeat lenders. We close on one deal, they're ready to fund the next deal, which allows me to keep several deals in the pipeline. But again, I want to make sure my lenders are taken care of. How do you determine your top end ARV? So ARV is after repair value. So as a community of investors that I'm a part of, we do have a really cool software system called iOS that allows us to pull up some numbers, some comparable numbers that we can look in the area. Typically, to come up with your ARV, you start at a 1/4 mile radius around your property, okay? You also even drill down to, and I'll give you a great example. I did a house a year ago that was in Evanston, and like a 1/2 mile away, I was also doing a house in a little area called Oakley. And just the fact they were about a 1/2 mile apart, if that's, one house sold for $289, the other house sold for $699. And if I would have taken the $289 house and picked it up and moved it over to next door to the $699 property, it probably would have sold for $550 or $599. So you got to know your area, okay? And it's really good to build a relationship with a realtor, okay? Or realtors. So I have a few realtors that have done work for me. I've allowed them to be my agents so they make money because, you want to take care of everybody that helps you. And so they can typically run numbers fairly quick for me, okay? I can usually get some good ARV numbers within a couple hours, typically. Now, because I love this area of Evanston, there's a word or terminology called gentrified. Because it's being gentrified for the last few years, I know what houses are selling for. So I pretty well already know where the ARV was. Like this property, before I officially established it, I thought it'd be around 4 to 429. And then after we looked at other comparables that are being sold and have sold, 449 is more realistic, okay? So let's see. And what is your typical turnaround on a flip? Well, every flip is different. Sometimes you got a flip that it's mostly what we call lipstick. You're updating the floors, you're repainting, you're maybe changing kitchen cabinets out, light fixtures. but you're not doing anything structurally. Okay. Maybe you're able to keep the electrical that's in place and maybe upgrade some of the stuff. You can use the existing furnace, or you can use the existing vent work. Like this house that you're about to walk through is almost a full gut. And for me to be considered a full gut is you take everything to the exterior studs. That would be a full gut. The house down the road that we sold this year at 323.5 at full ask price, that was a full gut. It had gone through an extensive fire, and I acquired that property, and we did a full gut on this. So this is not a full gut, but we've completely re-updated all the plumbing, all the electrical, all the HVAC. So everything will be new except for some of the existing walls, but we did add a lot of new walls too and take away walls. So everything's licensed and permitted and all that. So last question, and let's walk through everything here. Yes, very good, Larry. Flip versus renovation. Do you have to save up money to become an investor? No, not at all. Ramona, if I said your name wrong, I apologize. So that is a myth. That really is a myth, guys. Being a part of this community and being a part and collaborating and working with other people, prior to me being a real estate investor, let's back up 6, 7, 8 years ago. I'd always heard people talking about, I use other people's money. You don't have to have money to do real estate. And I had the mindset of like, they're crazy. I got to have a bunch of money saved up in a bank or in a retirement account. I got to have a bunch of money to do real estate investing. And it's absolutely the complete opposite. Okay. Even from the very get-go, on my very first couple deals I did, I was able to partner with other people to use their funding. So you don't have to have a bunch of money saved up. Okay. Yes, you said it right. Oh, good. Thank you, Ramona. So let's go ahead and go through the house, guys, and then we're going to go through numbers. So let me turn my share off, start my video up, and there you go, Will. See if you got. Let's do a video check. Can you guys see me okay? How are we doing on time, Will? Can I get a sound? You can see me? Okay, all right, let's go on up. So this had an old handrail. We've taken most of it out. We will have to add, because it's more than 3 steps, unless we go pour the driveway and we're able to reslope this and only do less than 3 steps. We'll have to have a handrail here. Will and I were just talking. Will gave me some good input. We're probably going to go ahead and remove this tree. That way we've got a nice open view of this finished house. We'll keep the tree along the curb over here for shade. As you can see, my truck is underneath of it. There's a lot of shade that it creates. And if you look down past that, you'll see some trees down there. That first tree that's kind of going off at a 45, that's on our property. So there's a lot, and you'll see here as we show the side of the house, there's a lot of trees, old trees, okay? So let's just take a quick peek over here. Will, watch out for that drain pipe. That's gonna go away. So a lot of this old sidewalk, we are gonna demo this sidewalk and pour a new sidewalk here. This fence is all going to be removed, this 5-foot chain link fence. It's going to be removed. Will, if you could walk over here and maybe show them, get up high there and show them the side view and show them all the trees. If you guys can see, there is a freestanding garage back there. That's the one that is just beyond repair. So we're going to, because of the cost and the numbers to build a new one, we figure by the time you pour a new concrete slab, you build a new garage door opener, run electrical, new roof, we're about 20 grand, and we're not going to get 25 or 30 more from the house because of that. So what we're going to do is completely demo down that garage, tear out that old concrete slab, and pour in a new parking pad back there. So the homeowners will have off-street parking. Okay. But you guys can see the side of the house. We are going to keep. Now, I will tell you that the previous investor did do some box gutter repair and put some new gutters on. And so a lot of that soffit is new up there. He did do some of that already. Our front porch, guys, we've got a bunch of work to do on this. We're going to actually, we're going to dig underneath the piers, pour new concrete footers, and get this porch nice and secured. Let's go up these stairs here. Again, this stuff right here, this is cypress, all this old wood. We're going to clean this all up and restore all this. So, you know, when we're done, it's still going to have all the crown design. It's going to have the swirls around the columns. And there's a bunch of stuff missing here, but we have that in the house. So we were able to save all that so we can refinish everything. Okay. One of the things I do on an electrical standpoint, I always add ceiling fans on all my porches and decks. So that's going to be a ceiling fan with a light up there. You know, I envision somebody having a couple small chairs here with a little table, sitting on their porch, enjoying a ice cold tea or a lemonade. And so that's really cool to be able to do something like that. Come on in, Will, watch your step. So this is our entryway. I know you guys have already seen the pictures, but this will we'll go through this fairly quick. You said time-wise, we were doing good. Okay, so we'll kind of boogie through this. So we want to show the numbers here. All right, so this is the entryway. This is kind of the foyer. There's the stairs that wrap around, and they've got curved banister handrails up above. The floors. We didn't talk about the floors, guys. We are going to keep all the original hardwood floors. And we've got a lot of repair work, but anywhere where we put bathrooms and stuff in, we're going to actually demo out that wood and reuse that wood in the spots that we have problems and put like ceramic tile in the bathrooms and the laundry room, things like that. We've kind of calculated we should have enough to get this all looking good. Here's one of those functioning pocket doors that I was talking about right here, guys. Look how beautiful that is. Okay. So this one's got a single one, and the one right here, Will was standing out. That's got a double pocket door. I'm sorry. This one's got a single pocket door. Okay. All right. So we'll keep in. So what you see right here in the floor, Will, if you can show that too, this is where the hearth was, the fireplace, and it went straight up, and you can see the roof if you will can turn the camera up, where we completely demoed out the old chimney. Okay, what that allowed us to do is it allowed us to open up this whole floor plan, and that's really popular. As you guys know, people like open floor plans. So we're able to open this up. This is the dining room. Will's kind of scanning. This will be the kitchen area. Okay, we're almost done with framing. We got probably a couple days left of framing. This is where we took out some space from the dining room area and put a walk-in pantry. Will, you showed them back there. That's where that half bathroom is. Okay. All right. This is that back stairs that we've enclosed. And up at the top will be a closet. And down here in the half bathroom, we've built a nice little shelving area that will be finished out. But we needed this half bathroom. When I look at numbers, by adding a half bathroom on the first floor, I should be able to get $7,000 to $10,000 more on a house because of the half bathroom on the first floor. And it just makes sense. If a lot of people today, whether they have kids or no kids, where do they spend most of their time when they're in the house? They keep around the kitchen area, right? And or the TV area. And so having a bathroom on the first floor is pretty important. Let's go on up here so we don't run out of time. These are the newel posts that we had to add because they stole those out. But all the old handrails and the spindles are still in place. We're going to be able to refinish all this and keep it. This is that big window that was a stained glass window that was just too expensive to refurbish. If it would have been $2,000 or less, I probably would have gone ahead and done it to add that beautiful color coming through with the light, but it was just too much money. It just didn't make sense. And again, you got to take emotion out of the decisions. It's got to be about the numbers. So as we go up these stairs, watch your step, Will. As we go up these stairs, you'll come here to the right. This will be the owner suite. So as you walk in here, a lot of natural light in the owner suite. You got the 3 beautiful bay windows. This window over to the right, Will, and everybody on, that was a stained glass window, which is actually right there. We went ahead and took that out. And yeah, it's still pretty good. That one's in really good shape. This is where we added in a walk-in closet. Here's our owner's bathroom. This was that small bedroom. So this will be a walk-in shower right here. So this will be the shower head, but then your controls will be right here. So you won't have to get into your shower to turn it on. I started doing that in my properties. I think that's a really cool feature. Most of them, they usually have the controls right under the head. That'll be the toilet there. That'll be a little linen closet. And then where Will is standing with the camera, that's already been plumbed out for two vanity, 72-inch vanity. Let's keep moving on. So this is a middle bedroom. That's what it was before. There was a fireplace here with a chimney that went all the way up. That's why there's a hole there right now. That's been taken out. It's got a really nice little, what I call a step-in closet. And then we took space out of this because it had this kind of like, not octagon, but pentagon shape over here. And we took that and made that the laundry from the hallway, okay? Really cool feature here real quick. Show them this real quick, Will. So one of the things I like to do in my 2- and 3-story houses is like where the bedrooms are, I put a sub panel in. The main panels in the basement, put a sub panel up here that controls the 2nd and 3rd floor. That way, if breakers kick or whatever, they don't have to run all the way to the basement. I think it's a really nice feature that honestly, I haven't seen any other investor do something like that. So as we walk down through the hallway, you'll see where we've cut in here and we've framed in for our washer dryer. There'll be upper cabinets above this, okay? So laundry we'll be able to access for these 3 bedrooms. The 4th and 5th are upstairs on the 3rd floor. As we walk down here, this is one of the bedrooms. It's a pretty good sized bedroom, okay? So we'll call this the 3rd bedroom. It's got a step-in closet as well. Again, we're keeping all the original woodwork, all the original base, okay? This is the full bathroom right here. It was here in place. It had an old bathtub, so we've got it all ready to go. Got a new bathtub. It's all been plumbed, so they'll have a full bathroom to service these 2 bedrooms on the 2nd floor. Okay. Yep, got a ceiling fan up there above the toilet. Come on up here. Watch your step, Will, with the camera and your head. So this here was non-living space, just a pretty good size attic. You know, there are some roof lines here that make it kind of challenging and interesting, but it's very common. You'll see a lot of people come in and renovate and take this 3rd floor or attic and change it into living space. We did put a full bathroom up here, which we think is a must. Every time I've added a full bathroom to the 3rd floor, it really helps the resale of the property. Nice big hall closet, good size 3rd floor bedroom back here. And then down here, we're leaving the rest of this open for bonus office room, could be kids' playroom. I mean, you could make it a gym, like a small workout area. There's a lot of cool things. Like I can envision, you know, somebody putting up a desk or something here, like an office area, kids' playroom. But we're going to keep this open, okay? Yeah, watch your step there. So let's see, guys, where we're at, and we'll kind of go over the numbers. I hope you guys are getting some good information from this. Let's pull that up. Let's stop sharing. Let's pull this back up. Let's see what other questions we might have here, guys. And then let's get to the numbers here. I've got a bunch of questions at the end. Let's see. It says, I am interested in being a private lender. How do I find qualified folks who are looking for lenders? Chiquita, I mean, like myself and Will and a lot of people who are on here today are, whoops, just lost the questions. Not quite yet, Tom. Let's see here. Let's get back to the chat. Okay, so yeah, so we're part of a large community of investors. If you are not a part of our community yet, I'm sure somebody invited you out. So get back with who you are invited you out, and they can introduce you to our community. A lot of options there, okay? So yeah, there's a website. We are very much relationship based. So whoever invited you out, Chiquita, get back with them and they'll help you out. How are you keeping the interior dry in the area where you removed the chimney? So the area we removed the chimney, we've already re-roofed it up there. And it's not finished, but it's fairly dried in. So we're not having issues there. Are you going to reuse that stained glass window from the owner's bedroom? Good question, Alvin. I actually have someone that's coming to buy that for $400. So I'm letting that go. All right. And May's also interested in being an investor. Well, great. Again, get back with who invited you, and they can obviously introduce you to the community. You can learn more about what we do. And again, this business is definitely relationship based, and start building relationships. Okay. Let's go ahead, Tom, if you would pull that up, I'd appreciate that. And we'll wrap up. Let's go over the numbers. I'm going to stop my video. Okay. Yes, I can see it. Thank you, Tom. So again, guys, and early on, I talked about we established our ARV at 449. Okay. So this house will ultimately be over 3,000 square foot when we're finished. And so when we look at the square footage, we look at the bedrooms and bathrooms, we look at, parking. These are all key things that go into figuring out ARV. And we look at the community. We look around the area, what other properties have sold for, like properties, and we're able to establish that ARV. We'll be able to sell this property at 449. My thinking is go to market at this price, and we should either get this price or above this price. All right, you're going to see our costs involved in this deal. So buying and selling costs, there are some costs involved when you purchase a property, some legal costs. You might have, in this case, we had a finder's fee. Actually, I'm so sorry, Tom, that's a little bit of a typo on that finder's fee. That finder's fee was $2,000, not $20,000. Sorry about that, guys. So there is a finder's fee of $2,000 on this. And again, our buying and selling costs would include our closing costs. That's our realtor. That's any closing costs as a seller that we are responsible for paying at closing. Then we have $7,000 in holding costs. That would be insurance, taxes, utilities, taking care of the yard, cutting the weeds, cutting the grass, anything that costs that are incurred. Utilities are a big part of that during this. And I set this up at a year. I'm looking at this rehab for a year, so I base my costs on a year. Okay, then you're going to see a pretty good number here in money costs. It's $45,000. This is what my lenders are going to make. I've got a couple lenders that are going to make on being a part of this deal. Yes, that's a pretty good return on their money for not doing any work, but their money is doing the work, if that makes sense. And again, I like taking care of my lenders because I want them to be repeat lenders. There you'll see acquisition at 102. And then yes, our rehab costs are pretty high on this, guys. 181,600. Okay, that's all the way from, we replaced all the majors: electrical, plumbing, HVAC. Okay, we've got, we didn't have to replace the roof, but we did replace the windows. We're going to keep as many of the doors that we can, as much as the trim and the casing, but we got a lot of rehab on the flooring, all new kitchen cabinets, new light fixtures. So this comes up to 181,600, and that does include what I call a contingency or an oops factor. Okay, I usually budget about 10%. So there's about 17.9 or 16 in here for that oops factor. Okay. And then again, I apologize on the finder's fee. At 20, it was really 2,000. Okay. And that number should be around $84,000. Okay. I know, Matt, you just did the math on it. I apologize. The screen is got a few missed numbers. But again, our potential profit on this is north of $80,000. That's net, net, net. That's after everything's paid. That's after the property's sold, all the closing costs, the realtor's been paid. And so again, it's a pretty good return on an investment property, especially something that, and I do more than one a year. I currently have 9 projects going on, and they vary quite a bit in potential profit, depending on the project. Well, let's see if we've got any final questions here as we're running out of time. I appreciate everybody being on. Let's see here. Okay, what does buy, sell cost cover? So good question. When you purchase a property, you're going to have some minimal buying costs, and that would be mostly legal costs, okay? Could be some admin costs, but you're going to have some costs there in the beginning. Now I separated because I had a finder's fee of $2,000, and so I pulled that out. But that could be a part of your buying and selling costs. Depends on how you separate things. And then is the same as the closing costs. Well, the closing costs, your biggest part of your closing costs is your realtor fee, okay? And then you got to pay any taxes that are due at closing, okay? Depending on what state you're in, sometimes the taxes are paid in the rear. Sometimes they're paid, 6 months in the rear. Sometimes it's a year in the rear. So those are, and then there's legal fees. There's, typically the seller pays for, the buyer typically pays for the appraisal. The buyer typically pays for the inspection, okay? So again, those are part of your buying costs, but as a seller, your biggest part would be your realtor costs. Good question, Ramona. Do I need to go to class to gain knowledge about investing? Well, knowledge is power. We all should know this, that knowledge is always power, but when you apply that knowledge is when you become successful. And I would, if I was going to be a surgeon, I sure wouldn't just do a surgery without having knowledge and education and experience. So yes, you should have knowledge, you should have experience. As being a part of this community, all of the folks that are in this community across the country, we all have access to the same education and knowledge. So we're learning the same type of knowledge, and that allows us to collaborate with each other. We help each other out. Plus, a lot of times we do deals together. So yes, that's really important. Well, guys, let's go ahead and wrap up. We are at the top of the hour. I appreciate everybody getting on and all wonderful questions today, guys. I'm going to share a nice little screen here at the end. This is a 2-unit townhome that I just completed. It just went on the market yesterday. That was a year in the making project. That was a new construction from the ground up. And so that one we just got completed. So I thought I'd show that exterior picture. Yeah, thank you very much, Ramona. I appreciate it. Well, guys, we will be on next Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll be featuring a couple of our investors, husband and wife, that are out of Virginia, and that'll be at 11 a.m. Eastern. So come back and join us. If you want to bring any guests or any friends or family out, we'd love for them to attend as well. But for today, let's just wrap it up. And you guys have a great Saturday. You're welcome, Megan. Thank you. Thank you, Chiquita. Thank you, Dean, Kiana. Appreciate all the good comments. Great questions today, guys. And get back with whoever invited you, and they can get you on to other events that happen during the week. You're welcome, May. Guys, have a great day.